Hey everybody, welcome to another Unreal real-time stream with CG Spectrum. We're going to be covering some rigging stuff today. We've got some complicated things on our schedule. And I gotta get my chat working here. So I forgot something. I always forget something. So today I forgot to get my chat going. So hopefully I'm not missing out on too many conversations here. Oh, and I also have to figure out how to get it going. This is a problem when I'm trying to do stuff on the fly. Let's go to backup plan here. All right, so we got a couple things. John03D says hi. Or Dave's here as well. Welcome. All right, guys, I've got a plan for what I'm going to do is talk about some of the M gear rigging that we want to do, and one of the things that we were working with a couple weeks ago, I guess, was working with this lava monster dinosaur thing. And so I'm hoping to get into that today and see if we can solve that a little more. What I would like to do today with that is get into more of the skinning side of it rather than just dealing with the rigs, but I'm definitely going to look at the rig element as well and see what we can do with, you know, explaining some of the stuff that we're figuring out. One of the things I really wanted to try and, well, I wanted to solve that. But anyway, there's another thing we want to try to look at is maybe getting some, there's a question that Kesnia's got that's got some, getting some randomness working on doing some Niagara VFX in Unreal. So we might start with that just for fun, get some Unreal stuff working, and then jump into more of the boring stuff. There's Keznia. I still can't get my chat working. This is so frustrating because it's like, oh, why is it so complicated here? I can't get my option to do it. So it's really annoying. I can kind of see the chat through YouTube, so I'm just going to do that, I guess, until I figure out any other better method to do it. All right, so what I need to do is figure out, like, I've been doing some research, studying some the M Gear basics too. Let me switch over to my screen for a second here. And basically, it's the second set of tutorial series that they put up for M Gear, and it's like going more in depth into some of the complicated stuff with I don't know, like bend deforming around elbows and stuff, which is, you know, when you do the bend, it needs to give space for where the bone is and all this stuff, and you're doing it within the actual you know, the tools available from M Gear, and it gets pretty tricky. Like it's easy, but it's also like very complex for what it's trying to do, or for, you know, from a basic standpoint. You're getting into some more of the advanced stuff. I'm gonna jump over to our lava monster character project, which I've got on the SVN server. So I'm just gonna open up the project and also open up our source. We got a rig file, we got a model file. We even have a little idle animation that I started doing there, but we're really not done with the rig yet. So let's just open up the rig here. And then when we get into the project, oh, Dave says, yay, you can still connect to the server. Yes, I can, I think. I mean, I haven't checked yet today, but I was able to recently. Let me see if I can do a little update here. Yep, still talking to the server. Haven't been kicked off yet, yay. Which is was a really weird issue. I should probably talk about why I'm talking about this. It's like, for whatever reason, my IP was getting kicked off the server from the SVN server. So I was talking to them, and my IP address kept getting flagged by their firewall as being a spam, somebody who's spamming them, and so I kept getting put on the gray list. And then I had to actually communicate with them and say, can I come off the, can you guys fix the problem so I can communicate? And then they took me out of it, put me back on the white list, and then like a day later I get put back on the gray list. So there was something going on my end that was pumping out something that was causing me to keep getting flagged. So they suggested that it's some sort of mailer is spamming them. So I uninstalled my Microsoft Mail Outlook software for all my computers in my in my house, and now ever since then it's been working. So I don't know if that was coincidence or related, but it since I don't use any of that stuff anyways, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna uninstall it and see what happens. So anyway, if you're ever trying to connect to a server, specifically our SVN server, and you find that it just stops working one day, it's possible. I mean, you can always talk to Dave or I and troubleshoot what's going on there, but it's possible that having a similar situation like I was. Okay, let's try this VFX test. So I really don't know very much about VFX, so this is gonna be hilariously embarrassing as I work my way through this one. But what we're really trying to solve is how do we make a particle system happen where it doesn't randomize every time it plays. So you can get, and this is pretty important for renders, because you do a render and you want the render to look a certain way, and then you do a render the second time and all of a sudden all the particles act differently and you get different results each time. And sometimes it could be bad, like if you had a snowfall scene and a snowflake falls right in front of the camera and causes a weird shot. You could do a really long render and find out, oh geez, what happened there? Well, snowflake just went weird. So being able to solve that and figure out how to make it so that it's locked in is actually really good. Hey, Pietro's here. All right, welcome. And Chris Macnay. Thanks for doing this video, Simon. I am currently in the midst of learning M gear and NC skin as well, so really interested to watch today. Awesome. Well, that's great. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm learning myself, so maybe you can help me too if I get stuck on something. But it's basically a pretty promising tool, and those tutorials are really good. So I'm pretty happy to spend my time trying to plug away at figuring out how to do it. I mean, currently we have a character that was rigged with it that has a skeleton, and the skeleton is skinned and everything. So we're getting there, but I need to come through it again and spend a little more time making sure the skinning works well this time today, and then also thinking about how exactly we can make the tools feel a little more custom to what this needs to be. But there is definitely skinning fixes that are required because there's a lot of hard surfaces on this character, and you definitely have to decide what part is what in order for it to look right. And I think I gotta get the textures on here still too, actually, at that point. So let me jump over to VFX. That's what we're doing. I'm just going to do this because I'm actually really interested to see what we can do for solving this problem. It may not take very long to find out if I can or cannot do it. But there's this one very interesting node. Okay, I got to figure out where I'm going to go here. Particles, VFX. Where the heck is all the Niagara stuff? Media, physics, paper, text. There it is. Niagara emitter. So we create a we just do a template emitter. So like mountain. It has to be really simple. And there's definitely, when you're looking at some of the options and stuff, you're getting like the option to do random, and it's a possibility that we can assign correct uniform. Okay, so there is this node that we can use that is outside of the actual Niagara, which is called a like seed. And really what we're working around is the idea of controlling the seeds so that we only have one seed at a time. Let's see here. Where was our conversation about this stuff? I can go grab that link. There's one called Set Random Seed. If anyone knows the answer to this, please feel free to shout out, because I'm definitely not interested in trying to reinvent the wheel if I don't need to. Set Random Seed. So it's a node that looks like it's from the blueprints, and it definitely gives you a number that is going to set your seed. And the theory is, where I'm hoping that this is going to go, is once you have a seed decided in terms of what it's going to be, then all your randomness uses that same seed for all of it, and it just keeps reusing that same seed rather than just picking like a random one. So you really just have to decide that you're going to set it to something. But how? How do you set it to something? You have to have your target of what your Niagara asset is. And so do you do that like in a level blueprint or a custom blueprint? Does this happen before we get here? Like if we made it into maybe this is the problem, is I don't really know enough about Niagara to really get into super details here. Like even this, would I, if I was able to, am I able to create a blueprint from it? And then we like brought that in, and then tried our fancy, oh, what did I do with it now? Set random seed offset, there it is. So 23, and this would be on begin play. How am I gonna prove this? It's like, oh yeah, that's totally the same random as last time. So what if we get rid of the, oops, not that one. We get, oh gosh, rid of this one. Can we just bring blueprint in instead? This is what I'm talking about. It's like, am I gonna know what I'm doing here? Now you gotta test it somehow. It's probably not the best example to work from. The other thing that was interesting in one of those articles was that somebody was saying that there's some particles that you can get from the content examples, which is another thing that I never did get a chance to try because I didn't realize I was going to have to try and demonstrate something right now. But if you go to the Learn and you go to content examples, they have a room specifically for particles, and it's possible that one of these particles talks about how it can reproduce the particle over and over again. It's also possible that there's another type of particle system in there that might be, you know, equally interesting, that you can just see, open it up and just take a look at what their method was to be able to make it work. Just trying to think if there's a way that I can test this easily, or should I make a different particle? Directional burst. How do you restart a particle too? That's the other question. It's like, okay, well you have a particle, but then what do you do to like make multiple particles? Oh man. Then what do you do about making a Niagara system that's going to be the second one? I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do this. Okay, so there's my test. Let's try that. We hit play. No, I can tell right now that there's no similarity between the shots. So you can see the particles are all just showing up in different places. I'm putting the target. There's 2 targets. I don't know if that's allowed, but it seems to be. Save that again. It's also possible that now that I've done it, maybe in here there is like a new pull down option that has shown up. Lets you use it or something rather than direct set. Am I in the right one? Yeah, I don't know. This is where I'm going to probably fall apart here. Because basically it just requires somebody to sit there and go, okay, there's options that I can do that I didn't know about. I have to admit though, when I did the Google search, I thought, oh, it'll be easy to find the answer, but there really wasn't a whole lot of solutions. And even the one from the Reddit forum was like, it ended up being pretty vague, like the solution. What did I do with that link anyways? Oh man, I can't find anything right now. I do. Maybe I closed it. I mean, that's why I can't find it. Okay, yeah, whatever I did with it, I may have closed it. What was it? Is it this one? Because it says tricky quest, maybe rendering out these 23 frames may help. I've noticed it really worked. Thank you very much. I will try the solution with Blueprint. I've noticed it really worked. What? Rendering out these 23 frames. Oh, okay. Like if you do it where you're just trying it as a render instead. Well, there you go. If that worked, then that's amazing. I don't know. I'm pretty unsure. It seems so vague, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, and then I'll just arbitrarily say I'm gonna make a seed offset, and all of a sudden it becomes the solution. It's not quite as satisfying as I'd like. I wanted to say like, I have used this seed for this random effect. That's what I was hoping I'd be able to do. Like one of these pull downs was gonna be like literally say, use seed. But I don't know. It doesn't quite seem as clear as I was hoping. All right, well, you can give that a try, see what happens. And if you ever do figure it out, make sure you share it around, because I know that even William Fauché had the same issue, same concern, same problem. So he'd probably be interested in knowing your answer if you ever do figure it out as well. And his issue was that it's specifically quite frustrating when you're rendering, because like usually on a traditional render system, you would have the ability to just jump in and patch some frames. So like, let's say you're gonna make a change to a camera or an object, and it's only showing up on the second half of your render. Well, rather than rendering your full sequence, you just render out the part that the object's changed, and then you just override the frames that you've rendered. And that's normal for rendering pipelines. But if you've got like snowflake particles moving around or whatever, these little things, and they all just jink between the first half and the second half, then nobody can use that. So that it's definitely not what you want. Okay, let's move back to Maya. What are you asking for right here? What do you want me to do? Save the level? Okay. Save the new map. We'll jump back to our rig. I'm pretty sure that I have textures for these things, but that's not working right now. So maybe I haven't bothered to put them on. I don't know. Yeah, I do have textures. They're just not in the same folder as the... Oh, I gotta set the project maybe. Well, I'm just gonna move them. Kernel ground AO texture. I'm just gonna move them into the same folder as the Maya file for now. Oh, but you know what? I don't even have mapped out yet. And I should probably do this to the mesh, not the rig. Sorry, this is boring stuff here. I'm doing all this, making it with materials, which I think might be useful when I start getting into the skinning. So the skinning tool that they use in the the skinning tool that I used for or it's not, wasn't me, it was the M-Gear guys who was using, was the NG skin, and it was using it wasn't the version 2, it was like the 1 point whatever. So I wasn't sure if I even have that version. Oh, I don't even, oh there it is. Yeah, I think I have NG skin tools. Oh, I have both of them. All right. Well, oh, invalid syntax. Oh man, did I install it for the wrong version? Maybe I'll have to go back to an older version of Maya for this. Actually, you know what? Let's just make sure I get the same version or the latest version installed. We'll go through the whole installation process. So the latest branch is 2.0. Now I just wonder if like he's using version 1 for a reason, or whether he's just familiar with that. Or maybe he just doesn't even realize that there's a version 2 out there. Alright, anyways. We'll get the free version. I'm not very familiar with NG skins because I just haven't really had opportunities to really work with it. It's just never really, like, rigging is kind of a specific job on its own, and I haven't done rigging for a while. I mean, besides these streams and stuff. So it does require a bit of practice to get used to the different workflow, because I know they work with layers and it's like a different type of setup, which is supposed to be better, and I'm expecting it to be better once you figure out how it goes. But it's not that you can't really get the job done using the Maya tools. It's just that there's a lot of ways to save yourself a lot of time. So I'm gonna just try and install this. But it's like, even when I was at Rocksteady, we had like specific people that just all they did was rigging. It was their job, riggers, and they would just focus on just skinning, and then setting up joint rigs and stuff, and you know, that was their full-time thing. Okay, this seemed too easy. Let me close my Maya versions here. Usually rigging, or usually installing things like plugins is like fairly extensive process, but apparently it was like, done. You're all done. It's possible the plugin wasn't loaded though. I hadn't really considered that, so maybe that's all I have to do. Go NG skinning tools 2. Oh no, there it is. Right, so we'll see. how this goes. Now I do want to open up the model first, and we'll get some materials going here. So I think we have a color. They're just like Lambert textures. I don't think they're PBR based. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Textures. Oh, I was gonna do the ones that are inside the main folder here. Oh no, I don't have to. Textures. Diffuse, open. And if I go back again, I forget. Main one. There we go. Color and transparency with it was, what was the other option? It was like a emissive. Incandescence? Is that what makes it glow? Gotta change all your lingo. Maybe it is a PBR based if it's using emissive. Oh well, if I do it as a Lambert, then at least the FBX will pick up the textures when I export. Jump back in there. Get to where I was a minute ago. Open that. All right. Through our textures, enable our textures. There we go. Yeah, it's working out. All right, so I'll save the model so that when I reference that in, it should be good. Just keep this Maya open because I might need it again in a sec. And we'll open up the rig. Taking a little longer to open Maya now. All right. Oops, what did I just do there? Oh, I was also going to talk about the Tiger rig. Well, I don't know if I need to talk about it. I was going to talk about it because the skinning was broken, and I was going to see why the skinning broke and see how that relates, but let's just do this, and we'll get back to that if we need to. No, rig. So the rig is referencing the mesh for the character, so the rig has the materials all automatically getting thrown in here. And then what, so let's just open up the guide manager here from the M gear, and I have basically set up the rig in a fairly useful way, so that it does kind of follow the size of the character fairly well. It probably could be polished and tweaked a bit more, but it's not too bad. I don't know if I want to spend too much time worrying about it yet until I really start to see some issues and concerns that I can do. But what I really like about M gear, and what I'm noticing a lot is happening, is that he's just like throwing away his rigs all the time. Like he's just like, oh, and we're gonna change this, so delete it, start it over again, do another thing here, take a look at it, test it out, throw it away, do some changes. And I think that's what's making it so interesting, because it's not, you don't have that giant commitment that you've gone through the process of rigging it. It's just like a very disposable kind of issue or setup, and I think that's really attractive. So I guess in that case, if I'm not going to be working with a rig, I got to get the N gear, or not N gear, NG skin. So I'm going to jump to, I don't even know how to use this rig very well. This box, there we go. So one of the major issues is definitely the head rotation here. So we can focus on that one first. So let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna grab the skin. I'm gonna grab our tool set. Get it over here again. Come on. No. What? Just there, please. Initialize skinning layers. Skinning layers are not yet initialized for this mesh. Okay, so we've got our layers and our influences for on the mesh itself. I don't know why we have it in graph editor. We can just go Maya Classic or something. No, that was really useless. Let's try this again. I gotta do this game again. There we go. So some of the tricks also in those videos are really interesting is just how he uses the skinning to like isolate and select and be able to manipulate. Lots of really good tips there. Definitely worth watching those video series just for how he works with skinning, which is not something you're going to catch on my videos. Because I'm going to be like, what am I doing? Vertex, set weights. That's your intensity. Replace, add scale. Paint. Here's your paint button, I guess. Mirrorability. All right. So turning the visibility off. This is my first problem right now. Is where do I indicate that I'm? Oh, here we go. We're in paint mode, and I need like the head joint. Selecting the neck, the head. Wow. Can we like... He was talking about how like creating layers is like your ability to undo. Which is interesting. But maybe he was first like isolating things in a very clean way and then just manipulating it easily? I don't know. Seems like if you do have a new layer, you're still going to have the influence from the first control on top of that. The brush projection, we got surface, volume, and screen. I wonder what screen means. And then brush mode is replace, add, and scale. Currently the intensity is at 1, the brush radius. So when I painted and I got nothing, that makes me wonder. Okay, so I can paint on that one, but I can't paint here. It's interesting. Duplicate. Oh yeah, so if you duplicate, you get to keep the influences of each joint. And you can go back. So I actually forgot what I was doing, but I don't want to actually paint the this is the head joint. I actually want this to be painted at 100%. And then the back part is going to be 0 because it's going to have to like not influence that part. Alright, we got Pitt. Hey guys, hope all doing well. Welcome. Yeah, we're just trying to get some skinning techniques here with NG skin tools. I wonder what would be influencing the back piece. It's got to be like a spine Like, it's gonna be like one of the main spine pieces, really. I don't know how much flex we're gonna have between this half and the other half. Maybe it would be like the mid spine would take 100% of the influence here. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be able to mirror. Like, that would be bad if I couldn't. Let's try some of the other cool things he was doing. He had like the ability to select areas. Assign weights from closest joint. Influences. Assign unify weights. Fill transparency. Copy component weights. Limit max influences. Vertex mapping. I guess I should try this out before I get too deep into it. Axis on the X. That looks correct. Positive, negative. Seam width is 0.1. Influence weights. Mirror. Ugh. It did not mirror very well. Mapping mode UV space. Uh-oh. No, closest point surface. That looks better. Yeah, I don't think our UVs are mirrored. That would be way too coordinated. Is my... I am good. So mirroring seems to work pretty good. What I'm trying to do, or what I was hoping to try to learn how to do, is get to the point where you can like select the verts and then just assign the weighting to the verts, which maybe that's what set weights means. Does that mean I have to like go into vertex mode or something, or what was the process there? How do you... Oh yeah, maybe. Do our fancy sew tool or something. Oops. And then apply, but like I can't see anything, so that's not very helpful. Other isolation. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Add influences. Create merged. Oh, for layers. Alright, let's go back to paint. Go back to object mode. Get paint. I guess that's back here. Chris says, hey, he breaks it down to flood layer, blocking layer, and relax layer. Okay. Oh, for your layers. So you got a flood layer, a blocking layer, and a relax layer. Seems like a really good workflow. That does help. Thank you. So this is definitely not a flood layer. I mean, it's definitely not acting like the flood layer, but I can kind of see the strategy here. Where you want 100% influence on the areas that should be anywhere near it, and then the next one's the blocking layer. I wonder how much flooding they're talking about here, because then what does blocking mean? Yeah, the head joint. Alright, we're gonna go with the flood layer theory here. Therefore, I still don't quite understand what the flooding means. But surface mirror multiply opacity. No mast. Right, that would flood the whole thing. Oh, but if you flood the whole thing with it selected. Was he isolate selecting it when he was doing it? Yeah, I got an idea. Let's watch the videos. Except for it is a different version of N-gear. Or NG skinning. I keep calling it N-gear, which is hilarious. M-gear and N-gear. Of course, I lost it all. Alright. M-gear rigging framework. Let's go to... Whoa. We could go to the more advanced ones, but I'd rather see the more basic ones at the moment, actually. Where do they have it? 17, 16, 15, 13. Plate placement. Guide adjustments, skinning positions check. Skinning heat map trick, skinning refinement. Skinning transfer. Alright, let's see this one. Selects the points with the tool open, and he's in paint mode. He's in component mode. He selects the joints. Selected influences in Lister. Okay, then you sign it. Alright, that makes sense. Chris says when he floods, he selects all verts and does 100% paint flood on the root joint. Really? He just floods the whole root? I mean, I guess that's okay. To me, I'm like, you're just basically really forcing yourself to start over from scratch. But I guess that's the idea, right? You're flooding. But like, what if you had like a little bit of mist influence over by the chin or something? It's going to be, that mist influence is going to be influenced by your root as opposed to the actual, you know, potential old chin. So you really have to like catch every single vert if you do it that way, which makes me a little bit uneasy. But I guess if you're going to start properly, let's do it that way and we'll just have some fun with it. Always come back. It was really easy to get this. It's just like a heat map or whatever to be able to create it. So if we're going to do that, we would take the spine O, or maybe there's something else called like a root or something. Foot, springs, legs, mouth, eye, yeah. It seems, oh, what's this top one? Mask. What does that mean? Line from the closest joint. I wonder what mask is. I don't know. Anyways, we'll flood that 100%. Intensity at 1. All gone. Now all the influence from everything else is 0. Yeah, and this is where the layers come in. After you flood the entire root joint, duplicate the layer, and then you can adjust each joint. Alright, cool. Sounds good. We'll duplicate it. Now we start doing the blocking. So we're gonna try that strategy we saw in the video, I guess. So in component mode, maybe I can just grab an edge loop or something. This seems way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Like, what would be a good way to do this? Do it. Selection. Enlarge. Oh, your duplicated layer becomes the blocking layer. This is where you can adjust the influence of each joint. Select verts, select joint in NG skin flood. And just work down the chain. Not quite working down the chain here. I'm actually working a couple joints in, but whatever. Let's just try this before I get too crazy with this. Convert this to... Oops. Verts. Doesn't matter. X. Where is it? Tools. Here we go. Place. What? I don't know what's going on. Let's go over here. Oh yeah, did manage to paint that on there. Okay, cool. Guess I should do the back end here. So this is 0, 1 joint spine. You can kind of see the blue in terms of which one I'm looking at here. I would almost say that this one is... See, why is one blue and one red? That doesn't make any sense. Or does each joint get its own color? Like, is that how it's supposed to be? Like, I wonder what the color scheme is supposed to mean. Alright, so we're going to work our way down this spine so that we get to, say, one of the neck joints. And then like if I isolate select, maybe that's a good way to do it. You can switch the display to grayscale under the paint options if you want instead. Oh, okay. Oh, I did it by accident. I was like, hey, it just went black. Oh, well that is exactly what I was trying to do. So the spine, or the root, is still influencing 100% of that, and then we've got the joint 2 is influencing this. It needs to add a little more verts to it. Funny how I selected this side better. But I really want to get to, I think what I want to do is see the neck. So let's go back. Okay, what is going on here? What is going on here? Why can't I pick the face? I'm not very, I was always kind of surprised by how easily he was like picking stuff, and I'm like, I wish I could figure out how to do that. That looks pretty handy. So the neck. There we go. Now I gotta feel like I got a bit of a workflow working here. Again, I don't really have to worry about making it symmetrical because it will do it for me. So we got some ears and some head. Now if I did make this the neck, I probably want some of it to be the spine actually. This is probably why I'd want to do that. So let's switch it to spine. I'll just pop it over there, spine 04. And we'll try to pick what we can here. Alright, we'll make that so that we set the weights to replace that as 100%, which, let me just double check that it actually does look correct here. Object view. What's the deal? What's the deal here? What do I gotta do? how do I make that preview again? Why can't I deselect my object? There we go. So spine is correct. That's correct. Probably should try adding this a little more. Probably should flood that whole thing actually. This is probably why selecting is better than trying to paint it, because if you're just trying to paint it, you know, one annoying thing is you always get like huge little shadowed areas in the corner somewhere that you're like, oh, didn't quite get that one. You don't realize it until like well into production, and you're like, the tiny little vert is like not going, is cutting through a mesh or something. You're like, oh no. So it is better probably to do it this way, where you apply it as a selected set of verts and then work your way out. Alright, so now we've got this, the head. Now let's try to do the neck, and we're gonna do, maybe what we'll do is we'll just select it like this instead. Am I selecting verts? Yeah, so All right. They said, oh, it looks like it is. I'm probably really late on that reply. This is an interesting eyebrow thing, which I don't even know how that's going to do that yet, but like, how do you get that eyebrow to collide with the mesh? It's going to be really tricky. Definitely going to have to like cut that influence out pretty quick. Ends Lolo? Ends Lolo? Ends. What's up? We're just trying to use NG skin tools for the first time for me anyways. Getting some help from Chris, so it's been really useful. And just seeing what the workflow is like. I'm happy with it. It's going great. But this is probably the slowest way you could possibly use the tool, I'm sure, because I'm very much like stumbling along here. We're gonna add some influence for the neck there, although that didn't. See, why are these blue and that one's gray? I feel like that didn't quite kick in, did it? But I don't know why it wouldn't have. I don't know. Tricky. This is the problem when you're learning. Everything's all like, why is that not working? Why is that not working? So in theory, could you not like take... Oh gosh, I'm picking more, not less. Take this and kind of like reduce it and work your way out. Ah, yeah, I go by my real name at the school. Okay. But we have contacted before. This stuff is way above me, sadly. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for joining in on the stream. Hopefully there's something you can learn from it. I basically just use these streams as opportunities for me to learn stuff. It's great. It's stressful, but it's great because then I really like sit here and go, okay, what do I got to do to that work this time? Because there's always new stuff coming out all the time. It's tricky to stay on top of it all. And what happens is, like, realistically, in a job environment, you just have to sort of learn enough to kind of get you through the pipeline that you have to worry about. Like, it depends on how big your studio is. If it's a really big studio, then your job becomes narrower and narrower, and it's just like you're just responsible for this tiny cordoned off area, and then you get really good at just doing that because it's like that's what you do day in and day out. But when you kind of in my situation right now where I'm just like spread across everything, it's super hard to kind of stay on top of it. Hey, that's who Hans is. So it is really tricky to sort of stay on top of it and stay on top of the changes that are happening all the time. So it's the burden of being a generalist for any kind of department or any kind of career. Generalism is really difficult to stay on top of. You're always learning. You're kind of like jack of all trades, master of none, and that's pretty much where you stay. You do your best to learn as much as you can, but you're always not going to be like a real specialty in that area. And I kind of like it, but also stressful because you're always like, okay, it's gotta do something. I don't know how it's gonna work. And that's pretty normal, apparently. So there's our neck joints. They're all actually up there. It's got that one is way back there, and then we got this one, and we got this one. I don't think what I'm doing is a very good job right now. So it's like a lot of neck joints. Because where am I heading with this? I'm gonna have like a whole bunch of influences. Like it is when I do it like this, so it is kind of nice how it splits it off so that you just have that one chunk. I mean, in theory, I could just paint replace parts that I would like to have working. Oh gosh, at least that's theory until you try to paint it and it won't let me paint it. Is that because it's locked off? Because another one has it? Are these all locked? Is that what that blue and gray means? If they are, how do I unlock it? I don't understand. Always interested in watching you go through these things. Awesome. Exactly what I found. That's why I gave up on programming in the end. It's just, I just can't. Blue should equals has paint. That's what it's supposed to be. Well, let's, oh look, it's blue now. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't blue last time I looked. Alright, well, there you go. You're right. But sometimes I notice the gray does not update to blue. Okay, so we're on the same page at least. I'm not going crazy. I just can't paint the influence that might be influenced from here. Yeah, so we've got an influence on that one, but then I can't go back, which is weird. Usually you can just kind of steal it from back and forth if you want to. This one seems... Oh, wait, I can paint there. So what's the deal? Current influence grayscale. Current influence colored. All influences multicolored. You kind of see why that's useful, because then you can see now why you're looking at, okay, so that's not influenced by this one, but the white one is what I am influencing. You can kind of see that being helpful. Show layer effects. I don't know what that means. Ooh, hide unselected vertices. Wow. It's kind of interesting. You can also only paint on selected. Oh my gosh, you're right. I have selected verts on. Good call. What's a good way to deselect that? Okay. Let's go back to paint here. So what am I trying to do? I want to do, I got neck 01, which is way back here. There we go. Now I'm painting like crazy. So I'll keep it on full blast here. So I really do want the neck. What's going on here? And neck 01 has no influence. You gotta find a spot between the two. And then the third one. Like there's just not enough vertices to make this make sense here. Because now we're in neck 03 and I'm like, alright. It's a lot. There we go. Let's try... Really all I have to do is put neck 03 and then head on there. And then the rest of it's a little more interesting. Oh boy. Such like a mess right now though. Definitely want like the eyes not be part of the neck. And there's probably some geometry hidden inside of that mouth that I want to make sure is part of the head as well. Alright, so we're going to make that the... Oh my gosh, there's a fourth neck. Man, oh man. Like 1,000 neck joints there. So we'll make that all the head joint. And that should be pretty smart for what we're trying to do here. So deselect. Alright, I really should do some test movements too, though, really. Oh, there's the eye right there. That's why that was not making sense. I almost feel like one of these joints is like, I don't care if it has no influence. It's just getting too weird and complicated. Oh look, even though I selected it, I've still got pieces in there that never got picked. That's awesome. That was part of the Spino 2. This is the problem, is you gotta like get right in there to flood it, which I don't know. Alright, so let's do some posing tests and see how things are going. Oh, let's also save our file. Let's save it and then let's commit that. All right. I only ever did bone influence in 2D, but interesting to see it's basically the same for 3D. Yeah, for sure. I bet it is. It's probably like just, you know, on a flat plane. They were like, I remember back in the day, this is like way back though, 90s or whatever. They were South Park, which is like this flat plane thing. They found the best workflow was to work in Maya to be able to do that all with. So just dealing with joints and animation and curves, and it's like it's the same idea. I was gonna grab the head control here. Go back to object. Oh, I've got curves turned off. Let's see here. Got quite a lot of stretching. Wait, if that's just moving the head joint, how do I get the neck joint to work? Is this the neck joint? Gosh, this is where I gotta get into. My controls are not very good. This thing. Oh, we got a few comments here. Let me go back a little bit. When you are done doing the blocking stage, you duplicate that layer again as a relax layer, and then use the smooth brush to smooth the joints together. Sounds good. I'm done with that. And says back in the Quake days, they didn't even have bones and retargeted the vertices at runtime, pre-programmed. In Quake, they didn't even have bones. They just retargeted the vertices at runtime. That means you'd have very few vertices to worry about, I would think. Which, you know, Quake, yes, you're right. There's like literally like 3 polys on the gun. Chris says, oh wait, that's the same question here. Just keep in mind you can go back and edit the layers below. But you will have to copy the paint data, joint paint data between layers if you make major changes. Wow, the joint paint data. Wow. Let's take a look. Chris says, had to head out though. Good luck. Have fun. Thank you, Chris, for all your help. Appreciate that. Definitely, I'm definitely on the road to something anyway. SRTK Studio, work into curves in animation. It helps a lot. Work into curves in animation. I'm really curious to know what that means. Work into curves. Is it like a solution that's better than what I'm trying to do right now? If there is a better way to do it, feel free to tell me, because I'm very curious. I'm just looking for a way to get the neck joint to move right now, but I can see that there's tiny little neck controllers in here, which is like, ugh, it's not even. I gotta scale them up still before they're useful. But I mean, maybe the idea is I'm supposed to switch the head to like an IK head or something. What do we got here? I roll over. This is the problem, is I don't really know the M-gear rig very well, so and plus I got my guides turned on as well, which is like really not helping. So let me hide the guides here. Oh, what do we got here? What's this yellow one? Oh, here's the neck controller. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. But I really got to scale that neck controller up. It's just ridiculous. I can't actually work like that. I guess we can cover that too. We can talk about how the neck, how we can modify the controllers. So without any smoothing or anything, we're getting stuff. It needs a ton of polish. But it's really like it's really I was about to say, I forgot now. Oh, we're basically doing the skinning, like we're totally starting from scratch here with this whole like complete flood out, not even using anything from the heat map or anything, or the geodesic voxel stuff. Which is like, yeah, this is the most time-consuming way to do things. I'm gonna jump back into the NG skinning stuff and see if I can follow what Chris was talking about, which was something about transferring fill transparency, duplicate, merge, enabled, initialize skinning layers, add influence, assign the closest joints. What layers from layers? Copy weights to clipboard, paste weights replacing existing. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's kind of interesting. Tools says assign from closest joint, unify weights, fill transparency, copy component weights, paste average weight component. I'm trying to think of how this might actually be possible. Should probably mirror the skinning here. Let's just do that. Negative, positive, mirror it, and jump back to paint. Go to the other layer here. Oh, our mirror is not mirroring. This is point on surface. Here, oh, there we go. I have to have the right layer selected. So we'll do another one. We'll duplicate this, and this is now our I'm trying to figure out if you can rename. Oh, here we go. You can rename it. So we had relax, and then we had, what was he calling it? Blocking. And this is flood. All right, so let's try the relax here, and see if we can kind of make some of this work here. So in the paint, we have the ability to smooth, which kind of takes away some of the influence of, well, basically merges the influence with the next closest piece there, which kind of working, but I feel like the head joint. Let's just try adding more to the head joint here. So we go back to the head, go to our blocking. Let's add replace 100%. Oh wait, we just switched joints here. Head joint. Let's get that cheek to be more of the head. Maybe around the eye as well. When the head rotates, it really pulls. Like even this piece here should be part of the head. Ooh, look how it's not working. Right? Like that's because of the relax, I assume. There we go, yeah. Relax is influencing the, it's keeping the past in there. So that's what he was talking about. How do you get, oh man, you can layer them? How does that even make sense? What does that mean? All right, so blocking, but relax is the parent. I want relax to be the child, I would think. Oh gosh, what am I gonna be doing now? Okay, so we got relax, which is totally grayed out. Blocking. Yeah, so it's still influencing it. So weird. I have no idea how you would use that in context yet, so we'll just come back to that. This one definitely has mask selected. Let me just pick the head joint. Does that change anything? This is still got the influence. It has the influence. How would you, what was he saying? Would you be able to merge it? How does that even work? When you're done with my usage. Just keep in mind, you can go back and edit any of the layers below, but you will have to copy the joint paint data between layers if you make major changes. Copy the joint paint data. Oh, maybe that was that copying thing I was looking at before. So, where was that again? Tools? Or was I just right-clicking on the joint? So, grab the head, copy weights to clipboard, copy weights to clipboard, oh, cut weights, copy clip weights to clipboard, and we go to this one, and then we paste weights, add to existing, subtract from existing, replace existing. There we go. Okay, that worked. So I basically just took that one joint and then replicated it on the relax. So now up here I can still relax it. All right, it's kind of working. Okay, so what else can we do? Let's go back to blocking for a second here. Oh, look at that. That's how different that is. Alright, I'm gonna take the... I'm gonna work on the blocking of the mid spine here. This one. I'm gonna do some more replace on the edges. This is, to me, this is a totally weird workflow at the moment. Like, I'm just not used to coming at it like at these angles. It's much more linear usually, but now it's like there's tons of layered dynamics going on that I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to utilize this? Like, for example, here, I want this to be added more influence for this part. But then I gotta copy and paste to relax. I almost feel like it's too early for relax. Let me just delete that layer. It's making my life a little too complicated. Alright. So we grab some of this. Alright, so the way that this is modeled is it doesn't allow us to really have the mesh separate, so I don't know if this is maybe the best way. Almost like the neck needs to just pull that mesh along. We'll go back to the next neck objects. Got joint 4, joint 3. Like, I would almost say we only need like, there's 5 joints altogether for the neck, which is crazy. And it seems like the first joint has a massive amount of influence. So I'm gonna take maybe joint 1, steal some of this influence a little more. Joint 0. And there's also like the spine 04, which has a fair bit of influence. We got a little bit of spot there. That would be the spine for sure. The little tip to go back to the spine. Oh, that needs to go in the neck. Pietro! I'll go to bed, Simon. Sorry to have to leave. Enjoy your stream. Take care. No worries, Pietro. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did. I'm doing kind of boring stuff anyway, so you're not missing out on much. I got through, I think I went through the fun part. Now I'm just sort of like in the grind. Anyways, appreciate that you made it. Wow. For whatever reason, my kids are banging the floor as hard as they can. Alright, so looking at the neck, we're working our way up to your neck 1, neck 2. Doesn't seem to have very much influence, which might be for the best. Neck 3. Which one's the pink one? Oh, that is neck 1. That's neck 1, that's neck 2. Alright, so neck 2 probably should. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take neck 3 and we'll bring it a bit wider here. Look at that, we got this yellow influence right in the middle there. Oh, I just missed that post. Hopefully it wasn't important. Okay. Let me keep going. So that goes there. I think I need to steal the influence here. Take that one. Get rid of this. Let me go to the head. Okay, that was a lot of time to spend on the head. Let me not worry about too much more of that. We've got the mouth, jaw, and stuff, which we could work on blocking that out. So we got the bottom jaw needs to be influenced. This is where we would go back to our vertice effects. We want to deselect everything. Let's grab this. Oh, you know what would be better to grab the jaw is to do the growing selection here. Maybe I should do it from here. Wow, okay, let me try this instead. Should turn on my tooltips here. Dave, are your kids making an expansion to your house? I think so. For some reason, in their bedroom, they're expanding the floor to maybe like a firefighter's chute down to the basement or something. They got big plans. Alright, so I'm gonna take this. Let's see if I can, rather than trying to switch it to vertices, if I can just use faces. Mouth, jaw. I really wish I could like preview it while I'm doing that though. And then, so we got a lower lip. I'm not even gonna bother with lip. There's no lips in this thing. Teeth, low. Lip, teeth up. Let's not even focus on that right now. Oh, eyeball? Okay, we can do that maybe. Is this not an eyeball? I don't know. Let's not do the eye. If I make it out an eye, won't it just sort of like cause the whole thing to look not real anymore? Yeah, I feel like that won't be a good idea. Alright, keeping going. That's what else we got here. We got shoulders. Let's get into the shoulders and the arms and legs. Might be better. The mesh. The shoulder, the left shoulder. Oh, I should also save it. Actually, what I could do is also try to rescue the skinning or save the skinning. So I'm going to grab this and say M gear, shifter, where is it? Skinning stuff, skin weights, export skin. And we're going to put it in the same folder. Object is incompatible with this method. Oh my gosh. Skin.py. Wow, I wonder what I did wrong there. Export skin pack as binary or ASCII. Well, currently it's an ASCII, it's an MA, so I don't know. Is saying the mgear skin.py is invalid parameter. Object is incompatible with this method. I mean, that's a really nice informative error, but I don't know what exactly it was that I did wrong that it's causing the error. I doubt it would be from the... Oh, maybe it's because it's ng skin. Well, I skinned it myself though, so I don't know. Like, I don't think I did anything too weird about my skinning. But maybe there's something in here that it's not supposed to be using. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I was kind of hoping to use that. it was kind of critical. Because then I could just re-import it again every time I rebuild my skinning. Get names in gskin file, import skin, copy skin, select skin deformers. No surface, just copy the skin from. See, the nice thing about mgear is the fact that you can technically swap it out pretty easily for a bunch of different ideas. If this is maybe not correct, but I definitely want to figure all that out before I get too deep with the skinning. So let's jump into a different gear. Let's try something a little bit different. We want to fix some of the neck controllers anyways. I don't want to lose what I've just put together here for my NG skin tools. Does NG have any options for saving as well? Import layers, export layers, create layers, merge duplicate, add influences, transfer layers. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's what they care about. Maya itself has options. Under rigging skin, you can export weight maps. But realistically, I'd rather just copy skin weights. Strangely, the skin doesn't have a little icon next to it. It's no longer in the folder that used to have. So the little blue icon, oh, just had someone follow us. Optimus, thank you for following. I wonder if the NG Skin Tools has like somehow removed it from the reference, because this mesh was supposed to be coming as a reference. I don't know. Anyways, we'll just duplicate it. And now we have a second version of the mesh that is not skinned. I'm gonna just hide it. What the heck am I gonna do here? I've already saved the file. Alright. I'm gonna save it again. Just in case I lose it. And we'll send this over to the server. So I can always find it if I lose it. Optimus says, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you love, man. That's what you said. Very good. Yeah, sure. It is kind of fun. I mean, it's very construction based at this point. So I like animating too, so it's kind of fun when you get all this done, you figure it out, and you're like animating, you're like, oh, that's fun to do. That's got some cool stuff. But there's a long journey to get to that point, or at least to a point where you're happy with the way the rig looks. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna hide this mesh. We have this mesh. This is our backup mesh. Don't quite, if I like reload the reference, this is an interesting idea. Because the reference has the mesh in it, so I should be able to like reload. And now all of a sudden the mesh exists somewhere else. Oh gosh, it doesn't. What's going on here? Let's take a look at the file we're referencing. It's right here. It's in under model. What the heck? Oh, that object is supposed to be the mesh. It's just a shape object now, or whatever they call it. It went into another folder. Okay, whatever. So we'll jump back to go into M-Gear stuff. I'm gonna go into X-ray mode. And maybe what we'll do is we'll just hide both meshes for now. And we'll take a look at what we got. We've got a rig, whole setup. We got a skinning that I'm about to break as we build a new rig. So we have our rig here, which I'm gonna delete. Now we end up with just the guides, which is the M-Gear guides. I still see a skeleton in here. Point organization. Oh, weird. Let's talk about, okay, well, first I gotta build, in order to change the size of the controllers, I have to build the M-Gear. So I'm gonna open up the shifter. Well, actually I wanna open up the guide manager, and then you can say build from selection. So if I select the main guide, you say build from selection, it'll build the entire rig again. That's a good combo. Alright, so we got the rig built again. Now, at this point, you can take these controllers and resize them, but you can't just sort of like scale it, because that's going to change the size of your rig. You have to go into the control vertexes. So in this case, I'm going to hit Control 1 to put it into isolate select mode. And I wonder if I could grab more than one. So now, unfortunately, I need to see the size of mesh. It's huge. There's no way I'm going to be able to select these controllers very well. Turn off the ability to select meshes. don't even know. How would you make it so that you could pick these neck controllers? I guess the real question is, do you even want to pick those neck controllers? Because they all kind of work from... Oh, and also, maybe we should just reduce the number of necks joints. That would make my life a lot easier. But it would ruin all my skinning, but I don't care. So let's go back to remove the rig, pick the neck, the red one for the neck, which is the neck root. We can go to the settings for it. We can say component settings, number of divisions is 5. I mean, we would need 3. Oh, we can only go down to 3. Okay, definitely only 3. So, pretty sure. How do I actually like apply that? I guess it'll just work when I do the build. Right. So with 3 of them, pick the guide again, build from selection. Hopefully it'll only make 3 of those controllers. Oh gosh, there's still 5. Wait. 1. I guess these are the 3? 1, 2, 3? I don't know. I would have picked less if I could. Alright, let's hide the guides for a second so I can see what's going on here. This is the neck. And... oh, the tangent. Wow. There's only 3. Whoa. Let me just check this one more time. This is the shoulder. This is the neck. Let's go to the settings. This is the division. Oh, it's back to 5 again. How do I get it to save? Ah, seems to be saving this time. Why wouldn't it have saved last time though? Try it again. Guide, build from selection. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. A lot less controllers. I want to save that guide. So I select guide, M gear, shifter, export, guide template to on top of my previous guide template. And now I want to pick this, isolate, select, control vertex, isolate, select. Let's make it really big enough so that you can actually select the thing. The problem is it looks a lot like the spine. So I don't know. It's the delicate balance of, I mean, you can make that shape whatever you want if you want to make it into a star. In fact, they even have some templates, shapes that you can work with. Oh, I forget how to do that though. They had like it's under rig bits. Like a way to swap it out with one that replace shape, mirror controls. Oh man, does it even replace shape? I forget what I'm doing. There's extract controls. Maybe it was replace shape. I don't know. Let me see here. Do we have anything brought in here for neck? Got lots of legs and feet and back legs. That's all the stuff I've been doing. There's a spine one in there. I don't see anything for neck though. I feel like I'm supposed to, extract controller. That was the button I'm supposed to be pushing. Okay, well, whatever. Maybe because I'm in object mode here. Let's try it again. Extract controller. There we go. Neck got added to the list. So inside the guides, it keeps track of these are the based on the naming convention. This is the type of shape you want to put in that particular spot. And that's how you customize your controls, but it's like a little unintuitive at first, but then you kind of get the hang of it, and it doesn't really become such a problem. I'm going to make these really wide as an experiment and see if I can get that to be useful. I'm out of component mode. Extract that again. Now we have two necks in here. And now I really want this control to be a lot bigger. That's a really nice one. That's the neck one. So grab the control vertices. Make that a lot bigger for the neck. Try to extract that one. And there was another control in there too that was interesting. This one? Oh, that's a neck tangent. We've got, this is like the head control. So this makes the head look around, and if you translate it, it actually splits the bone from the neck. So that's not really what you want. But it would be nice if this control was a lot more intuitive as well. I think I can like translate it. Whoops. You have to remember these are like floating space vertices. It's not a mesh, it's just like 4 points in space. They happen to have lines connected to them. Alright, that looks good. Let's see what that looks, see if that'll work. Back to object mode, select it, extract controller. Eyes, I don't think we're going to use the eyes, so I don't even care. Alright, and let's grab again the guide. We're going to extract that. Shifter, extract controls. Or sorry, not extract controls. What have I just done? Gosh. Screwed it all up. Export guide template. Save my Maya file in case I regret everything I just did. So again, we're going to delete our rig. Look, our mesh is all nicely attached to our... oh no, it's not. It's a different mesh again. What is up with that weird thing, eh? Like, why is the mesh not able to reference in? Let's try the reference one more time again. Actually, just turn it off. Turn it on. Reload. What is up with that? Not a mesh. It's like a invalid node at this point. Just think the NG tool, skin tools have technically overwritten it and just pulled it from here, because usually there's like a, I don't know, this is a group node. might be a group node. Anyway, I think it's done something fancy. It's probably adding to the complexity of why it's not exporting my skinning, but whatever. Let's get this to build the build from selection again. See if all those head controllers and everything work. Alright, looks good. Turn off X-ray mode for a second. Okay, so now we have a skeleton built, but we don't have it skinned to the mesh, so we're gonna have to get that together still. I'm gonna take this duplicate skinning or duplicate mesh that doesn't have a skinning attached to it. I'm gonna skin that to I mean, it's really eliminating the whole point of why we're doing references in the first place. Just sort of frustrating. What are you gonna do? Alright, so I'm gonna take the mesh and the joints. Actually, I think you have to do the joints and then the mesh. And then we're gonna go back to our bind skin option here and try to figure out what didn't allow it to work before. I don't know. Let's just take the joint hierarchy. Let's do a geodesic voxel, interactive, classic. As remove unused. Deformer. Error has occurred. Bindable objects must be part of the selection. Pick the skeleton, pick the mesh, bind. Mesh shape deformer. Deformed. Let's try deleting the history on this. When I turn off the reference, the mesh is still there. Man, I am so confused. It's possible I just have to restart Maya. That could be all it is. I guess I could just do that. I don't think there's any huge issue. Just don't save. Reopen Maya. I got 2 minutes. Be nice if I could get this solved. Just so I don't leave on this like, oh look, I made it way worse than everybody. I've gone back right to the start. Trying to get the skinning to work. What's going on? Alright. No, we're still got this weird problem, so that doesn't look good. Rig, joint, hierarchy. Let's grab this, grab the mesh. Skinning, skin, bind skin. Joint hierarchy, 5 influences. Same error. So weird. I don't really understand it. This one already has a... Oh, it doesn't have one. I lost the skinning. I guess I deleted the skinning. This was the one that was supposed to have the skinning on it still. I kind of lost it already. Let's do the joint and this mesh and try this on this mesh instead. Same issue, bindable objects. Let's delete this mesh. Let's delete, let's refresh our reference. Reload. Ah. No. Alright, you know what? We don't even need the reference anymore. Let's just get rid of it. Remove reference. And let's put it back in again. Model. Reference. With the merge referenced in. There's our mesh. That looks more normal. Okay. Let's try this. Skin. Bind. I'm basically picking the same settings here. Oh, resolution showed up. That's new. There we go. Now it's binding. There was definitely something weird about that last mode. So I can pick this control. And we can start to see it move. As you can see, we're back to geodesic voxel skinning, which means it's all nice and organic-y, which isn't what we wanted. We wanted that other mode. But at least we're back to, you know, some sort of skinning. And then to rescue my previous skinning, I'm curious, can I, like, let's see, before I get too deep into this, can I export my skinning right now? Export skinning. This right place. Volcano beast. Export. Fail. Just is incompatible with this method. There's something that I have to sort on that one for sure. Figure out why exactly that becomes incompatible. Because it's obviously supposed to work, and I gotta get it to work, because if I can get it to work, then I can also put inside of the guide settings, the main master guide settings, you can say to automatically import your skin file every time you build your rig, and then it will not only build the rig but apply your skinning to it, and then that way you're not thinking about, oh, did I import my skinning yet? I gotta go do that, which is, I think, a very important, awesome workflow for sure. But now what we've got is this ridiculous scenario where we can't do it, and like, I guess my plan is to probably grab a previous version of the rig from the SVN, reference it in, and then use skin copy skin weights to bring it from that one to the one I currently have. However, the part that I was focusing on with the neck is now got a different set of number of joints, so that's all going to come in wrong. It'll do the best it can based on what's available, but it's like, it's not going to be one-to-one with what it was. At least maybe the shell on top is going to be working. That could be something. But that's normal for rigging. You kind of do stuff and then it doesn't work, and then you go back and you lose all your progress, and then you go, wow, that was a lot of work for nothing. And when you say, oh, it'll only take a few hours to do this, and it ends up taking you like a few days or maybe even a week and a half to actually get something finished, it's like, that's not too shocking, because that's pretty much how it runs. Anyways, appreciate everybody who's hanging out through my struggle of learning these new softwares, and we'll see what we come up with next week. Hopefully we'll find something fun to do, and maybe it's continuing this, maybe we'll find another thing. It'll be a new month, so maybe we'll have some fun things that the marketplace shows us as well. All right, I'll leave it there, and I'll catch you guys next week. Hey, everybody. Oops, how would I do this? Oh, wait, I can't even do it. All right, now I'm gonna say goodbye. Bye.